Welcome to your organic dropshipping bootcamp, motherfucker. Now, what I've decided to do here is start some sort of series on my channel. I thought, what better timing, us being in Q4, everybody needs to be locked in anyways. I was laying in bed last night thinking to myself, how can I bring a ridiculous amount of value and something unique to you guys and maybe provide something that you guys don't get enough of? The main thing I always get in my comments is, wow, thanks for actually giving me, valuable information and actually going into detail. And there's good reason for that, because everybody else just spits a bunch of regurgitated broad ass nonsense that you've heard a trillion times. So what the series is going to be is breaking down all of the good stuff about organic, everything as small as hooks all the way to branding to websites. We're going to get into a lot of it. Now, depending on how this video does, I will continue this or won't continue this. I'll spit out a few of these. If you guys love them, please be sure to let me know some way by, liking, subscribing, commenting, all that good stuff, so I can know, okay, they love it, let's keep doing it. So if you stayed this far, I assume you're ready to get into the fucking video. So make sure you lock in, you really take this serious, and you show up for every single lesson I put out. I plan on putting out one at least maybe every 5 to 7 days. So be here. It doesn't matter if you're just getting started or you've made multiple 6 figures. I don't give a fuck, 7 figures. You're gonna get information and knowledge you haven't heard anywhere else from each and every single one of these videos, actually going into detail. My ultimate goal with this entire series is to take you from wherever you're at to your first $50,000 plus with organic dropshipping. Now, I already have kind of a rough idea figured out of what, when, where, and how I'm going to post all the lessons from here on out, but feel free for the entire series to comment at any moment in time a subject you think I should cover. But, obviously make sure it's not something so minor that the video will only be like a minute long, because then I can't do it. This is gonna be a fucking moment in history. The very first lesson in Ethan's organic dropshipping bootcamp. With all that covered, there's not really anything else to do besides get fucking cooking. Let's do it. Now, as you can see by the title of this video or this lesson is going to be going over hooks. And, as you already know, not the generic bullshit that you've heard everywhere else. We're going to be going into actual detail. And actually throughout this entire series, this entire bootcamp, I'm going to make it super interactive and, have these awesome presentations for you guys so it's easily digestible. And I might even go as far as leaving the links to these presentations in the description below. If you want me to do that, just go ahead and comment down below, let me know, and I will start doing that for each lesson. Regardless, let's get right into it. I'm not going to hold you too long on this because we all know what a hook is. But what is a hook if you don't know already? There's 2 types, a text and visual hook. The first piece of text displayed and what is going on within the video within the first 1, 2, 3 seconds. Now, all of us already know that. So let's really get into the actual fucking nitty gritty. First of all, I'm gonna name off some common mistakes I always see made when it comes to hooks. This would be not thinking deep enough, meaning you're just, making a hook that you've seen somewhere else, not putting any thought behind it. You're not relating it to your product. You just saw, oh, this guy went viral, I'm gonna use that hook. Doesn't work that way. Too generic. Something like TikTok made me buy it. Obviously that's horrible for many reasons, but something that just doesn't resonate with anybody. It's just literally a sentence that nobody gives a fuck about. Zero reality added to it, just brainlessly copying someone else. Kind of goes into what I was talking about with not thinking deep enough, but also we have to understand, guys, we're doing organic dropshipping. There are moments in time where, you can get away with seeming a little bit more salesy or like much more of an ad than engaging content. But what a lot of you don't ever try to do is add sort of realistic scenarios or realistic emotion or words into your hooks. Really just your videos in general, but mainly your hooks. The third, and I put stars beside this because this is the most important and the most common I see, and this is not focusing enough on the visual hook. It is so important. It's like everybody lacks and does not care enough about the visual hook. I even go as far to say it's just as important, if not more important. A lot of you guys are just like, you're so focused on that text hook, and then you'll randomly put a fucking box in front of the screen. Or you'll start the video out just basically trying to do nothing, and then you just slowly get into the video, which is really bad. I have that starred 3 asterisks on both ends of it because that is the biggest, most common mistake I see made, and just that change alone is going to 10x your content. And of course, the too salesy and ad looking. Buy my product, or trying to name off your brand in the hook. Like I just said, the classic TikTok made me buy it. Now, before we move on, I do want to state that negative hooks are always stronger than positive hooks. You keep that in mind, and you will see that common theme throughout this entire presentation in this entire lesson. The human mind, we're not going to get into the fucking psychology behind it. If you've seen some of my previous videos, I talk about it a little bit, but we are just more attracted to and care more about and more engaged with something negative rather than positive. Although that doesn't mean a positive hook won't perform good, but negative is always going to win. Now, let's talk about the two different types of visual hooks. First, you have your scroll stopper or your head scratcher. Now, the way I like to describe these is your scroll stopper, which is normally your most common. It's going to be something very satisfying, very abrupt, or just, some sort of wow factor within the video. Not referring to your product, but whatever visual you're actually doing, which sometimes can or cannot or may not include your product. But just something crazy happening in the video. And then your head scratcher, which this is one that a lot of people don't ever really try, I don't see that much of, is makes the viewer stop and question why something is happening. Okay, now first we're gonna check out an example for a head scratcher and what this is. Okay, now let's pause on that, okay? The reason this is a head scratcher, and this is like one of the best head scratchers I've actually seen in a minute, is he's starting the video off putting very expensive items, multiple, like a shit that, like, dude, bro has like easily $1,000 or more worth of items that he's throwing away in the trash. Regardless, even if you're in that niche or not, you're gonna be sitting there saying like, why is he doing this? What is the purpose of this? I wanna keep seeing what he's doing. Is he genuinely gonna throw this all away? Is he gonna destroy this shit? Is he gonna waste all of his money? Right? That's where the viewer's mind is at with this good of a head scratcher visual hook. Now let's get into the most common. You see these all the time. These are your scroll stoppers. Here are a few good examples for a scroll stopper. If this will pop up here, boom. That is an automatic scroll stopper, okay? Even that first second in, you're like, whoa, right? Mouth watering, it looks so crisp, so clean, the perfect lighting, just a super, honestly, hydrating looking, just whoa. Like if you're looking at this, you're going to be engaged, okay? This was a good scroll stopper. Now let's move on to our next example of a good scroll stopper. Now, who the fuck is gonna do this? This is even, honestly, could really be deemed as both. First of all, something spilling out, it's kind of satisfying. It's definitely out of the ordinary, super bland background, and then something spilling out. Contrasts really well. This is darker, that is white. It really could work as a scroll stopper and a head scratcher, because on the other end, you're wondering, after a few seconds in, you realize he threw that on a blanket or a bed or a comforter. Why the fuck is he intentionally spilling something on his bed? Which is out of the ordinary and gonna make you stop scrolling. Now, after seeing those examples, guys, remember throughout, just this entire thing, the entire series and each lesson, but specifically this lesson, don't just go and take what you're seeing or the examples I'm showing, and once again, brainlessly just going like, oh, Ethan had it on a video, I'm gonna go copy it. This is to get the mice wheels rolling in your brain, okay? This is to start giving you ideas like, okay, how can I do something similar with the product I'm running right now, or the multiple products I'm running right now? Keep that in mind throughout the entire lesson, but that's going to cover the basics and 101 of visual hooks. Now, let's move on to text hooks 101. There really are only two strong points to a text hook. Now, I never really see them broke down in this fashion, but once you get to the root of it, these are the two main parts or two main sort of hooks that you can utilize with a text hook. And that is either one, emotion striking, or two, curiosity building. Okay, so now let's talk about what an emotion evoking text hook will look like. And before we continue, because this just popped up in my mind, I want you guys to understand that although we're breaking this down step by step, what different one is what, the best visual and text hooks include every trait. So the best visual hook is going to include a head scratcher and a scroll stopper. The best text hook is going to include an emotion striking and a curiosity creator. And this is going to be really obvious, if you just take a day of consciously scrolling and looking for all these things after watching this video, and especially once we get to this interactive part of this lesson, you're going to see how common and really why they work so well, especially the ones that have every trait. Now, let's get into what an emotion evoking hook is like. So there's really two of the best ways to go about it. As I said at the beginning, negative is always going to outperform positive. So that's why, for simplicity's sake, we're going to talk about the two most negative emotions, which will be angry or sad. So for angry, you're going to try and make someone feel angry or personally attacked by calling out either them, their beliefs, or the viewer's pain point and problems. And once again, I have examples to explain what these mean here in a moment. Now, for sad, very similar, but a little different. To make somebody feel sad, you're gonna bring up or talk about something that is obviously something sentimental to them, something or someone they've lost, or maybe has nothing to do with them at all, but they're passionate about it. Now let's look at a good angry emotion evoked text hook.
No, look, you found another way to cheat on me.
Did you really print out my own?
We don't have to continue any further. The text hook that I'm referring to is POV, you caught your boyfriend cheating again. That resonates with just about anybody, and even if somebody doesn't have a partner, they have had a partner in their life, and even if they never have, they will at some point, and even if none of that is the case, right? So we're resonating with virtually everyone on the planet. But you know, this is a subject that's gonna make majority of people angry. Okay, cheating is not a good thing. Nobody likes a cheater, right? Now let's move on to a sad emotion evoked text hook. Their last kiss, right? This is very sentimental. You're putting so much emotion, and you'll notice on all these good examples, guys, look at the engagement, right? 90% of them are viral videos. This is putting so much emotion into people. This is such a strong emotional visual and text hook. Okay, and this is very much so of a curiosity visual hook, as well as, you know, a good sad emotion evoking text hook. Now let's move on to a good use of both at the same time, which is normally the strongest form of a text hook. I've had this in a video in the past, but you just can't beat it. This hook is just about as good as it gets when we come to emotion evoking. Now, I know a lot of these some of them are really far-fetched and out there. Don't go so overboard. I would almost even say this one is a little overboard, but it's just so good and strong in every fashion. That's why I always bring it up. That's why I brought it up in the last video. No one gives a shit about your stupid Christian case business. This is going to make some people angry. This is going to make some people sad. This is going to make some people feel both very strongly. This is also a scroll stopper and a head scratcher, because you're not going to see this very often. You're looking at it, holy shit, a girl's crying. That's the scroll stopper, right? And then you're wondering, why is she crying? You're looking at this text hook. You're saying, okay, that kind of pisses me off, and it's also kind of sad. I mean, everything about this visual and text hook, no wonder it did millions and millions of views. The proof is in the pudding, okay? Now it's all starting to make more sense. So really, the more traits you have of everything we're talking about visually and text, the better and stronger that hook will be. Now, let's get into the creating curiosity text hooks. Now, obviously, what you're going to do is make them wonder what's going to happen next. So we're talking about teasing at something, or naturally built in and assumed, which is kind of what I mean by that are some of those videos. Maybe you see, like, they'll talk about power levels. It'll be like 1%, 50%, 80%, right? The moment you see 1%, you're automatically assuming, okay, he's going to lead me on to a higher percentage, or the prototype versus product. The moment you see prototype, you're just naturally going to assume, okay, he's going to show me something better, or the actual finished product. That's what I mean by naturally built in and assumed. And that's why these, you know, normally perform so good, as long as they're just slightly executed well, because they just naturally have a built-in creating curiosity trait to them. Now, and then just to get an even better point across about what a creating curiosity text hook is, a basic way, but not very strong, but you could literally, it's just something as simple as ending whatever you're saying with a ... right? This build up of something is coming. Now, let's look at a teasing at what's to come next sort of text hook. Now, as we could see here, unboxing Darth Vader's lightsaber. Now, normally unboxings are very hit or miss. The reason this performs so well is not only because every other part of it is fitting the vibe, he already has a good account, but he's doing something that 90% of you get wrong, which is trying to include your made up brand that nobody knows what is, right? He's not trying to say unboxing our fantastic light sticks from Lightstick World. Like, no, bro. He's just saying unboxing Darth Vader's lightsaber, which anyone within this niche will love. They want to see what he's talking about. It's in this cool, nice visual hook package. You know, everything, all the vibes are matching up. So anyone within his niche is going to sit there and go, ooh, okay, I want to see what this looks like. Now, think about it on the other end. If he was like unboxing Lightstick 3D's lightsaber, no one's going to resonate with that. Boom. You know, you've lost 90% of the audience that actually did stay and engage with this exact video. But this hook and the unboxing sort of style is a really great representation of a curiosity creating text hook. Now let's move on to the naturally built in. And of course, as always, your boy is glazing himself. We have one of my videos. We don't have to go through all of this, but this is what I was referring to, right? These percentages, and then you have your prototype versus product. The moment you see this, right, and then boom, they got into it really fast. This was perfectly executed on a prototype versus product. It's also why its engagement was crazy. Okay, you're automatically looking at something like that and assuming, okay, something is gonna come next and I want to see what it is. So that's gonna wrap up Text Hooks 101. Now let's move on to the fun part, and I'm hoping this works out kind of as good as I have it planned in my head. But what I want to try here is some sort of interactive training. So how this is going to work is all while on video, I might have the editors add some time in there or pause me, or I'll just pause. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to go about it, whichever one is best. So with this, we're going to go over a few different multiple choice questions with certain types of hooks or certain traits of hooks and see if you can get them right while watching the video. First, let's go over emojis. Now, we're going to go over both of these, and I'm going to show you these. These are going to be on screen somewhere, somehow, and I'm going to give you about 5 to 10 seconds to answer before I tell you the answer. I want you to tell me out of which one of these emojis, it's the same text hook, which one of these emojis does a better job at evoking the correct emotion, or the emotion that would work the best and strongest for this text hook. Okay, so the answer is going to be B, right? Now, we're thinking in the mind of the viewer. I'm not saying, now, really honestly, as I was writing all these down, none of these are horrible. I'm not sitting here saying, you know, after I give you an answer, none of the other ones will work. They still possibly can. We're trying to figure out which one is the best, and the very best would be B, right? Because the fire one, that seems very like, oh, I'm trying to show you something cool. There's not much curiosity there. I'm already assuming that you're gonna want to see what I'm looking at, and that I think it's cool, right? And this, even the sunglasses, that kind of does the same sort of thing. But what this does is it not only evokes some sort of emotion, right? Because this is kind of high. This is like, oh, whoa, right? Like literally with the emoji itself, but it also creates curiosity. Why out of all things would he use this? Like, ooh, something is coming, right? You can just feel, like, it's almost hard to even explain or put into words, but you can feel, now that I'm explaining it to you, you can literally feel the difference in emotion that it gives you, right? These two emojis are sort of like, yeah, I'm trying to show something off. This is like, oh my gosh, guys, you wouldn't believe this, right? Which really does, you know, even though it's nothing crazy, it's not like this crazy change or this huge difference, it just does a better job at you know, building up that curiosity. Now, we're going to move on to the emotion-dependent text hooks. We're going to go over a few of these. A is going to be, my atheist brother destroyed all of my Christian art. B, my mom doesn't like my anime brand. Or C, in quotation, so we're insinuating somebody else is saying it, no one cares about your silly little shoe business. Once again, I'm going to give you guys 5 to 10 seconds to pick which one of these is the best. Okay, time's up. The answer is A. Now, let's go over why A is the right answer and the strongest out of all these. And once again, I want to preface, it's not like these are horrible and can never be used, but we're talking about which one is the best. Now, my atheist brother, automatically the very second word that the viewer is seeing is very strong, right? Atheist, you know, regardless if you're religious, not religious, mainly majority, everybody has some sort of religion. So seeing atheist is very strong on the emotion side. Brother, so now we're really having this attachment. Now it's like really getting juicy, 3 words in, right? Destroyed, these are strong, powerful, angry, negative sort of words that they're just getting pounded with off rip, right? My atheist brother destroyed all of my Christian art. So what does this do? And we already talked about this, right? This includes a little bit of everything. This includes the curiosity builder. Like, okay, I want to see, did this guy really destroy all of her or his art? And it's definitely making a lot of people angry, especially Christians. But any religion is going to be sitting here like, that is very far-fetched. That's really out there. I want to see what happens next. Now, the reason C, you know, we already kind of went over B. It's just not very strong. It's just like, whatever. Like, okay, cool, whatever, kid. But C, no one cares about your silly little shoe business. This is not resonating with really anybody. There's no relation here. It's just kind of broad, and it's just very, nothing's really just boom, hitting you, bang, super strong, super just angering or sad, or like, okay, a little tiny bit of curiosity, but your silly little shoe business. There's shoe businesses everywhere. There's a trillion different types of shoes. Nobody cares. How could we have made this better? Maybe if it had something to do with a niche, or even changing it to something like, my mom kicked me out because I couldn't pay rent because of my shoe business, something like that. Obviously that's too long of a hook, but something more along those lines. This is just way too generic and doesn't evoke enough emotion and barely even builds curiosity. Now we're going to move on to the third and final questionnaire, which is, which of these curiosity dependent text hooks are better? Let's go over them real quick. Gifts like these with the kind of greater than sign, 3 of them. He said he has a surprise for me. Now this one, I'll probably say this is probably one of the hardest questions out of all of them, because none of these are really that bad. And then C, do not, in all caps, let an anime fan see this. Once again, you're gonna get 5 to 10 seconds to think of an answer. Okay, time is up. The answer for number 3 is C. Do not let an anime fan see this. Now, if you're inside the Discord, you know that I love these hooks. I talk about these sort of hooks all the time. There's even portions of, hook examples of this inside the Discord itself. So you probably guessed yourself this was the answer. Now, let's go over why it was. It's not that these two were bad. These are honestly genuinely decent. Both of these hooks would probably perform well. I'm sure there's some sort of video out there somewhere that has both of these hooks, or that have one of these hooks that has performed really good. Gifts like these, too generic for me. I would say this is probably the worst out of all of them. And we're trying to assume that the audience is retarded. Okay, I hate to say it, but you're wanting to assume the audience is retarded. You can't just assume that they're gonna think or know exactly what you're talking about or exactly what you're trying to insinuate, right? If I was retarded, gifts like these with a bunch of greater than signs, I could be stupid and not get what you're saying, and then boom, I'm automatically turned off. What's even going on? Next, right? Now the second best would be, he said he has a surprise for me. Now this just isn't doing it enough for me. It's really not that it's bad, it's just a little too much on the generic side, but really could work. Maybe if you went in a little bit more detail, or resonated or related with a certain niche, so added somewhere in here somehow a certain sort of niche, or whatever the audience is you're trying to connect with. But the reason C was so much better than both of these is the capital do not, that's automatically very strong, right? You're automatically hitting somebody. Let an anime fan, automatically relating and hitting your target audience, your target demographic, see this. ... with a shush emoji. This just builds up the most ridiculous amount of curiosity. The ... it's a secret. Don't let them see it. Even better, the reason that this hook, you just see this on like every other damn dropshipping page, and people use this hook over and over, especially in the anime niche, but really any niche, all kinds of products. I've seen a trillion people use this hook and it still works over and over and over again. It's just basic human nature to want to do the opposite of what somebody is telling you to do. And that mixed in with this huge curiosity buildup, that is why this hook bangs so much, so often, and why it's most definitely the winner out of these 3 options. So that is gonna do it for our very first in the entire bootcamp interactive training. Hopefully it just gets cooler and cooler and better as time goes on. But now, right before we finish up, we're gonna move on to final notes, some of the best sauce that you're gonna get out of the entire video. First things first, as I've already been mentioning majority of this throughout the entirety of this lesson, both types matter equally. I would almost go to say that your visual hook matters more than your text hook. Think about it, right? You've seen a lot of videos go viral without a text hook. Have you ever seen a video that was just black all the way through with a really good text hook go viral? The answer is no. So that only could lead you to believe that the visual hook is actually better and more powerful than the text hook itself. But don't get it twisted. You need to focus on both of them. As I have, where do I have it? I have it somewhere on here. The second one down. Your main focus on your video should be making the perfect visual and text hook combo every video, and then they're gonna start to bang. I say that for a reason. Quit only focusing on the text hook, because that's what 90% of you do. Focus, think in your mind, like how much effort you put into finding that perfect text hook. Put the same amount of effort into your visual hook and your videos are gonna start to bang. I'm talking just that change alone is going to 10x your views, 10x your engagement. It's that simple. One is not better than the other. We've already covered that. Get hook ideas from big drop shipping accounts. So we're talking some like Anime Blades, for example, like a Night Operators, a Spidey Mask, Scorpion Shot. We're talking all these big boys. I would really go as far to say like 75,000 followers or more. They consistently go viral, 50, 100, 200 million views at least on their content, or you know, like my tattoos you always see, for instance. You'll know who these guys are, right? You see them time and time again. The killers are the killers for a reason. Think of them as the titans of organic dropshipping. Look for these people, know who they are, constantly try to, you know, seek them out and copy all their content. Get different ideas from different videos, from different accounts they run, all of that good stuff. And that alone will also 10x your content, right? Look at your videos. Okay, is it looking like X, Y, and Z's? Is it looking like this guy that runs these few accounts? Is it looking like this guy that runs these few accounts? Are they looking like Ethan's? If you get done with a video and it doesn't, retake the video. Okay, it's always been quality over quantity, regardless of what the gurus are out here saying. The volume argument is dog shit. Okay, make good videos. You're gonna go viral. You're gonna make a shit ton of money, not just by hoping for the best and pumping out a bunch of dog shit videos that look like they were made by a 12-year-old. Now, most importantly, take some sort of inspiration from every viral video you see. I see a lot of people, I bring this up a lot, and then they're like, oh, well, this dropshipping account and this brand and this and that.
Ted, shut up.
Fine.
Guys, I'm talking about every video. Quit being the consumer. You are the producer. Switch lanes entirely. Don't fucking consume. Who gives a fuck about TikTok videos? Really, the only thing that's like okay for you to be consuming is long form YouTube content. Short form content, use it as training. Use it to your advantage. Every single thing you see, take it in, take inspiration from it. A hook, even about a damn girl going to Target or somebody getting pulled over on the interstate, whatever you can. Take rendition from it and utilize that and put it into your own content. Okay, that's not only going to help you come up with original ideas that are not done in the organic space, but just overall, everything is going to start to click. Everything will make so much more sense, and overall, you're just going to become that much better of a content creator. So, guys, that's going to wrap up the very first lesson of your organic dropshipping bootcamp. Remember, I'm going to be trying to come out with one of these every 5 to 7 days. So make sure you subscribe, maybe even turn notifications on if you're really interested and you're really going to be that guy and you really want to lock in and make some actual fucking paper this Q4. Or if you want to get the sauce even sooner, even faster, of course, you can join my organic dropshipping Discord, where it has so much value. I could not ever even end up putting it all on YouTube. It's ridiculous how much actually goes on in there and how much education is actually inside. Plus the resources, the suppliers, the teams, the free subscription. So basically, you're paying $50 to earn $500 almost just from the free subscriptions you get. I mean, everything that comes in it. So if you do want to get a tiny bit of access to me and really fast track all of this and not wait the 5 to 7 days for every lesson to come out during this bootcamp, you can always just join my Discord in the link below, in the description below. Click it, it'll take you straight there, and then we can get to cooking even sooner. But regardless, stay tuned. I can't wait to keep bringing these to you guys. I hope this performs well. Like I said, let me know in the comments so I can keep making these, because this was awesome, and I feel like we could do something really big with these. Regardless, as always, go follow your boy on IG. I'll leave my profile link down below in the subscription. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in our next lesson.